Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite pieces of media from 2025, a media wrapped if you will. I love yapping about my favorite media, so I thought this would be a fun video to make. So I separated these into different categories. There's music, games, books, anime, manga, movies, and TV shows. And I hope you enjoy. Alright, the first category is going to be music. And I will say, for the most part, I didn't listen to a ton of music this year. I feel like in general, the past like 1 or 2 years, I haven't been like really in my music bag for whatever reason. I'm usually like watching something instead of listening to music, which is kind of crazy to me because I used to listen to like a bunch of music, but nowadays, I would say I rely on like the same like few albums and songs that I listen to all the time. I might tune into some new releases, but for the most part, it's just the same rotation of music. So if my list is a little boring or it doesn't have that many like new releases, then forgive me. I want to start off with Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet album. Again, it didn't come out this year, but this is the first year that I listened to it in full, aside from the title tracks, and it was really good. I like how she kind of blended pop, a little bit of R&B and country all in one. Um, the slower songs were good too. Just a lot of good songs, a lot of standout songs from this album. Definitely has a lot of replay value and overall a really good album. And then another album that I didn't get a chance to listen to until this year is Chappell Roan's The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. And yet again, another great album. I mean, I just feel like Chappell's really good at like delivering the emotional aspect of her songs, like the ballads specifically. And yeah, she just her level of artistry is kind of insane, especially for like a relatively newer artist. Yeah, the album is just really, really good. A lot of fun songs, a lot of emotional songs. I really enjoyed it. And then the last album that didn't come out in 2025 technically is Doechie's Alligator Bites Never Heal. Now this album is honestly already a classic rap album. I mean, Doechii just truly delivered. Like when I say truly, every song like from top to bottom, it's it's an amazing album. I mean, what can you say? She talks her shit. She just her flow, her cadence, the way she just I don't know. It's just a certain confidence to her rapping and stuff that I really love. Like she's definitely one of my favorite female rappers, favorite rappers, period. Like she just gets it and she's a star, honestly. Like undeniable talent. I just love when it's like undeniable talent in a person, and this album really speaks to that. She did her big one on this for real. I can only imagine what the next album is going to sound like. Alright, and then for the last two albums that actually did come out in 2025, the first one is Gravity's Dare to Crave album. I really enjoyed this album. I feel like out of all of their like previous albums, this one is definitely their strongest. It just feels like really cohesive and like includes like some of their old sound, their new sound, and like just it's really good. I like the unit songs. I just like it a lot. And then lastly, we have Tilt by Irina Sulgi from Red Velvet. They were on a mission to deliver for the Sapphics, for the queer community, and they did, yet again. This was such a good album. Well, I guess you could say mini album, technically, EP, whatever. It was good. Um, dare I say better than their first. I know, but I personally enjoyed the B-sides on this one more than their first one. The first one was still good, but this one was really good. Really, really love what they did with this album. They just work so well together. Their voices blend so well together, and they're constantly maturing as well, which I love. And yeah, I mean, where's the world tour? If I'm being honest, where? Please, give me. And these are just 20 songs that stood out to me throughout the year, and they all didn't necessarily release this year though. Also, I'm going to kind of speed through the song list just so I don't spend too much time on it. So there's SMH by Jay Steffens, Air by Yeji from ITZY, Good Graces, Sabrina Carpenter, Headlock, Imogen Heap, Someone to Call My Lover, Janet Jackson, Stunner by 10 from Wavy, Love Me Not, Raven Lenae, Killin' It Girl, J-Hope from BTS, the Wicked soundtrack, just the whole thing, Pink Pony Club, Chappell Roan, This Is For by Twice, Boiled Peanuts by Doechii, Denial is a River by Doechii, and Nissan Ultima by Doechii. Where the Hell is My Husband, Ray, Praying by Sugi of Red Velvet, Heaven, Irene Asugi of Red Velvet. Another soundtrack, Sinners, just the whole thing, as well as K-pop Demon Hunters, and then lastly, Shake It by Charlie XCX, featuring Big Frida, Cupcake, is it, sorry, Brooke Candy, and Pablo Vittar. And then definitely shout out to other songs too that didn't make the list. This was just my personal top 20 of the year. But anyways, moving on to the next category, that is games. Also, I want to preface this by saying these aren't games that I've personally played, just watching other people play them. And I just have like a top three. So the first one would be Mario Kart World. In my opinion, you can never go wrong with Mario Kart. I just wish you didn't need the freaking Switch 2 to play because I really want to play. It seems like really fun from what I've seen. Um, I like the whole like open world concept of it and like the little changes in like graphics and stuff when you're racing. And yeah, just overall it seems fun. The color, I love the colors and everything. The music that's always gonna hit in a Mario Kart game. And yeah, it's just a really fun game. I definitely want to play it one day. Then we have a horror game actually. It's No, I'm Not a Human. And if you've never heard of the game, it's basically like a survival game, I would say, kind of a choose your own adventure type of thing. And the setting is like, I wouldn't say dystopian. I guess you could say dystopian society. And you basically have to like make decisions on whether someone you let in your house is a human or one of the people trying to eradicate humanity. I've been eating the gameplays up from the YouTubers that I watch. Unfortunately, a lot of them haven't finished the gameplay, so I'm like itching to see more of it because I know people say like the lore is interesting. But from what I've seen, it just seems like I said, really interesting, very creepy, which I love. And I like decision-based games. So that's why I really want to play it one day. That's the goal, definitely. And then the last game is another horror game, Homicide. I think that's how you say it, Homicipher. But the thing is, it's a horror game slash dating sim. Yeah. So basically you wake up in like this unfamiliar building, and there's nothing but monsters there in like every room, and you have to communicate with them in order to find your way out. However, they speak a different language than you, and you have to like use context clues to decode the language and like help them be able to communicate with you to help you find your way out. And along the way, they kind of romance you. So it's definitely an interesting game. It's also a choose your own adventure game. Like you can make good and bad choices, different endings, all that. Um, but yeah, it's definitely fun. I feel like it's also for the freaks out there, which I am. So I enjoy it a lot. Another game that I've watched but didn't play though. And I may or may not retweet fan art for some of the monsters. Mr. Crawling. Anyways, on to the next category, and that is books. So I just have five of the ones that stood out to me this year. And the first one is actually the Hunger Games series that I decided to revisit as an adult. And I am happy to report that it stands the test of time. It wasn't just a middle school phase for me. It's like genuinely a good story. I mean, the writing is great, the overall message of it, the layers to it. I just you can't go wrong with Hunger Games. Even though I will say I don't enjoy the movies as much as I used to when I was younger, the books are definitely better. But yeah, I still love Katniss to this day. I just feel like she's so important as a female main character. Definitely opened the doors to other female main characters because we didn't really have a lot growing up, I would say. Well, at least I didn't in my school's curriculum, like as far as female main characters went. It's usually male ones. So she was definitely like a breath of fresh air. And then we have Bottom of the Pyramid by Nia Sue. And if you don't know who Nia is, she used to be on the 2010s classic hit of a show, Dance Moms. And as much as we all love to praise the show and look back on certain things, it had a lot of problematic behavior at the end of the day. Um, like a lot of it just shouldn't have happened, especially to children nonetheless. And Nia was obviously no stranger to the abuse. You know, obviously being the only black girl on the show, we saw in real time how she suffered from that. And so her book, kind of recounts a lot of the stuff that happened, like on and off camera of Dance Moms, because we only saw a glimpse of the stuff that she endured. And I really just want to give her props and respect for even being able to tell her side of the story, because she didn't have to. And even in her book, she talks about how at first she wanted to write a book as soon as the experience was over, but she decided to wait, let it marinate, let herself grow and process things. And I'm glad she did that. And she's come to a point in her life where she feels comfortable enough to share those things with the world. Because I can't imagine it being easy. So yeah, she just goes into depth about her experience on the show in her book, but she also talks about life after Dance Moms too, which was definitely more positive, and she was given the chance to grow, learn more about herself, kind of separate herself from Dance Moms, and not let her past like hold her down for too long. And I really love to see that, as a young Black woman evolving, coming out on the other side of like some really messed up stuff that she never should have went through. But yeah, just coming out on the other side like better, healed, supported, and loved, and just doing things that genuinely make her happy. So yeah, I'm really happy for her, and I'm proud of her for being able to release this book. Okay, and the next book is Juliet Takes a Breath, and that is by Gabby Rivera. And it's basically a coming of age story about this lesbian Puerto Rican girl who's like dipping her toes into feminism for the first time, and she finds this author who wrote this book that really resonates with her, and she kind of like puts this book on a pedestal, and as well as the author, and believes like all the takes in there are the only way to practice feminism and live by it. And she feels so inspired by it that she writes to the author, seeing if she can intern for her for the summer, and the author writes back and basically agrees to it. So she flies from, because the girl is also from the Bronx, so she flies from there to Portland, Oregon, which is a famously white city, and the author is also white. And when she gets there, she kind of realizes that things aren't as simple as she thought it was. I don't want to like spoil it too much, but basically she learns that feminism isn't as one note as she thought it was, and like this one lady can't encapsulate the whole feminist movement. And it talks about things like self-exploration, identity, um, being not kind of naive to the world and like branching out, intersectionality, things like that, finding community. Yeah, it was really well written, and I liked how everything came together in the end as well. All right, and these last two books are my personal favorites of the year. The first one is called They Bloom at Night, and that is by, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, I'm probably not. I believe it is Tron Chun. But again, please correct me in the comments because I probably butchered that. So basically, there's a lot going on in this book. It takes place in a dystopian society in the aftermath of like a hurricane that hit the town. And with it, it brought like this, they call it like a bloom, an algae bloom that has like kind of poisoned the water and like affected the animals in it too. They kind of transmutated into like completely different creatures. There's also disappearances in the town. And there's rumors of it being because of one of the new transmutated creatures. And so the story follows the main character Noon and her mother, who are basically doing whatever they can to survive, because they still like are staying in the town, and they kind of get by hunting down these like new transmutated creatures because what do you call it, the harbor person, like the head person in charge, um they go to him and sell these like creatures that they find for money in order to be able to make a living. And they have like kind of a complicated relationship with the harbor guy because he's like honestly pretty evil, sinister, doesn't really care about their well-being just as long as he gets what he needs from them. So one day he gives them like the impossible mission of finding the specific creature that the town thinks is like the reason behind the disappearances of the people. He gives them like a time limit to go hunt down this creature and bring it back to him, or else they're gonna be like forced out of their home, basically. It's kind of hard to describe without spoiling it. But it's like generally a good book. Like the main character Noon, she's really interesting character. Um, like a lot of the story revolves around her dealing with certain traumas, self-image, and a lot of body horror too. It's definitely a very graphic book. and a ton of other stuff too. I mean, like gender, sexuality, being kind of different. Just there's a lot of stuff, a lot of interesting themes going around. Even the elements of like Vietnamese culture that I learned from this. There's just a lot of layers to it, and I would just highly recommend anybody that's into like dystopian stuff, kind of horror, and low-key coming of age too, kind of thing, solving mysteries and uncovering stuff. It's really good. And then last but definitely not least is A Long Time Dead by Samara Breger. This book was definitely my favorite of the year. Like it just had so many things that I love in a story, and I could barely put the book down when I was reading it. Like it was just so good. So it's basically about this girl named Poppy who wakes up one day and another girl named Roisin tells her that she's been turned into a vampire, and she also says that the two of them have to stay in this cabin that they're in for at least a few months while Royson teaches Poppy how to get adjusted to being a vampire and get used to being around humans without like losing control. So obviously a lot for a person to wake up to. And the story basically follows them and their relationship, you know. Poppy, just her new identity as a vampire, and letting go of her past human life, and her, as well as her connection to Royce, and who she knows little to nothing about at first, and like slowly it gets revealed, like, their relationship dynamic is more complex than she thinks. And yeah, it's just it was really good. And it also takes place like kind of a long time ago, like in the 1800s. And it explores things like sexuality, found family, grooming, like being the victim of grooming. Um, what can I say without giving away too much? I mean, yeah, just, obviously vampires and stuff, everything that comes with that. I feel like the characters were all fleshed out, um, freaked out also at times. And yeah, it was just so good. If you want a good lesbian vampire book to read, add this to your list. Moving on to the next category, and that is manga, which I'm pretty excited to talk about. So these won't really be ones that I actively read, just the ones that I like got into this year and finished. So the first one is Haikyuu. Try not to say Family Challenge failed. And even though Haikyuu is obviously very popular, just in case you don't know, um, it's basically about, volleyball players navigating their life as like their sports career, but also their life in general, like growing up as teens, going into adulthood, just trying to find their path, wins and losses, friendships, found family, rivalry, all that good stuff. And it's like the plot is so simple yet deep at the same time, I'd say. Like there's just so many valuable life lessons for anyone of any age really to take with you throughout life. It is not just a sports manga, it's deeper than that. And next up we have Kaiju number 8. So this is basically like a sci-fi, supernatural-ish kind of manga. And it's basically a world where there are these monsters that like live under the surface and are ready to emerge at any moment to like destroy cities and stuff, and as well as the people in it. And so a kind of a defense force was created for these monsters in order to get rid of them, and as well as a task force to like clean up the aftermath after killing these monsters, because obviously big monsters, big mess. So the story follows the main character Kafka, who starts off on the cleaning crew, even though he always dreamed of being on the defense force when he was younger, but he wasn't able to pass the tests required to get in. So he settled for the cleaning crew. But one day, a new recruit of the cleaning crew shows interest in joining the defense force, and it kind of motivates Kafka to want to like give it one more try, because Kafka is a little bit older. He's in his 30s. Once you hit 30, your life's over, right? So he's like, oh, let me give it one last chance. And him and the new recruit, his name is Reno, by the way, they both end up getting in. But before that can even get anywhere, they both get attacked by one of the monsters. But fortunately escape with just a few injuries because the defense force was able to pull up. But when they like go to the hospital and stuff to recover, uh, a small like monster or whatever sneaks in through the hospital window and ends up going inside of Kafka and turning him into a monster himself, Kaiju number 8. So now he is part monster, part human, and that only makes it more difficult for him as far as joining the Defense Force, considering they're hunting down what he is. So he has to like conceal this part of himself going into like the training to enter the team, and the story kind of follows all of what that looks like. But yeah, I really enjoyed this manga. The story is really interesting. The monsters that the Defense Force fight, like the different designs for them are really cool. Um, and I think it's interesting how Kafka navigates trying to hide the secret from everyone as he like works to become a member of the Defense Force, and like Kafka's relationship to other characters, how he views himself compared to these characters, how he grows close to certain people, but at the same time keeps them at a distance because he knows if they discover who he was, that things would be completely different. They would like turn on him or hate him or something. There's also like his childhood best friend that happens to be a part of the force too. So yeah, it gets real, like feelings are complicated, things get a little dicey. And yeah, it's really interesting how the story progresses. I just feel like there were some things that were kind of left unexplored or not explored enough as a whole story, but it wasn't too bad. I feel like most things like were wrapped up pretty nicely. But yes, I would definitely recommend this manga to anyone that's into like the things I described, you know, the whole sci-fi supernatural elements of it all, because it gets really in there. The artwork is really good, and yeah, the story's good too. And then the next manga I have is The Summer Hikaru Died. Alright, so this one is a little bit on the darker side, not too much though. So basically the main character Yoshiki has a best friend named Hikaru, and one day Hikaru disappears on a mountain, right? And Yoshiki doesn't know what happened to him, but then a few days later, Hikaru comes back, seems like everything's fine, whatever, life goes on. Um, but then Yoshiki, like over the next few months, notices that Hikaru seems a little bit different. Not like, you know, the best friend that he knows. Like obviously he knows his best friend and he feels like something's off. And then one day he finally confronts Hikaru and tells him that he knows that he's not really who he says he is. And so Hikaru ends up telling Yoshiki that he's right and that this entire time he's basically this like supernatural entity that has possessed Hikaru's body, because Hikaru did end up dying back on that mountain, and this whole time he's been pretending to be Hikaru just to stay close to Yoshiki. And this is really like what this entity wants. Like he's like almost desperately asking Yoshiki to keep this a secret because he doesn't want to like have to go away, or he said in his words end up killing Yoshiki, so he's low-key a threat too. But he seems like really desperate about wanting to like be with Yoshiki because he specifically likes his soul and like he feels good being around him. So which is insane for like a spiritual being to say, but you know what the hell, sure. So obviously Yoshiki is going through a lot in this moment. One, confirming what he already kind of knew, that his best friend is dead, and also figuring out what to do with someone who's literally wearing the skin of him. So in a way Hiku's still there, like you have his voice, his body, his face, everything, but you're not him. But at the same time, because of his grief, he doesn't really want to let go of this thing. So he's like conflicted whether he should do something about it or just keep things the way they've been for the past few months. But ultimately, Yoshiki ends up, you know, keeping the secret for Hikaru. So the story just follows like the consequences that come with that. You know, because everybody else obviously assumes that it's the real Hikaru, that Hikaru's alive and well. So the story just shows like how difficult it is for Yoshiki to act like everything's okay while he's still, again, mourning his best friend, trying to keep it together. And on top of all of that, Yoshiki has also secretly been in love with Hikaru this whole time. So he's also dealing with those internalized feelings. Mind you, he lives in a very conservative, traditional values type of town. So he's just really going through it with the internalized homophobia of it all. Like, this boy has suffered more than Jesus. So tragic, but the story is so good, y'all. Like so many interesting themes here, like the ones I've already mentioned before, as well as just like the horror elements of the story too, because obviously this is like a supernatural entity that he's dealing with, so like supernatural things happen, and also Hikaru attracts other pseudo Hikaru attracts other entities to him. So like there's just a lot of like horror elements to it that makes it really interesting. And then yeah, just the elements of the relationship between Hikaru and Yoshiki. It's very complex and it's still an ongoing manga, so I'm interested to see how it develops. But so far, it's been really, really good. I would highly recommend it. And then the last manga I have is Windbreaker. Now this definitely became one of my favorite manga, and it's crazy how it happened so quick, but it's just really that good, y'all. So basically it follows the main character Sakura, who has always prided himself on being like this really strong fighter, you know. He feels like he can fight anybody. He's always looking for like the strongest guys to like prove this. So, you know, he's just a proud fighter. So when he hears rumors of this town, specifically the school in this town that prides themselves of having like the strongest guys around, he obviously wants to go there to like fight them. So he basically goes to this town and enrolls in the school and is ready to, you know, just fight all these guys to get his way to the top spot of the school. But then once he actually gets to the school, he realizes it's not what he thought it was. Like the rumors didn't really encapsulate what the school's values actually were. While they do train the guys to be fighters, they only fight for the town. Like they don't just recklessly fight to like um, overpower each other, show who's like the strongest. And so now that he's attending the school, it kind of opens Sakura's eyes to see that there's more to life than just fighting recklessly or like trying to prove your worth through fighting. Um, and you know, he learns things like friendship and community and opening himself up to people, and also feeling a sense of belonging because he also comes from a pretty lonely life where he was always rejected and never really felt a sense of belonging before. So like throughout the story, we just see how the school like has a positive effect on Sakura, you know, who came from just an angry place in life, a lonely place in life, to now having people that he can trust, that he can rely on, that believe in him. And yeah, it's just a really beautiful story, guys. It definitely takes you on an emotional roller coaster, not just with Sakura, but like the other characters that he meets along the way. Um, and yeah, just the found family vibes are just unmatched. I really enjoy this story. But yeah, if you like found family vibes, but also like the fighting too, because the fighting aspect is pretty good too. The fights are really well done. If you like that, if you like dynamic both main and side characters, then you'll have a good time. And that leads me into the next category, which is anime. And since I was already talking about it, I want to start off with Windbreaker Season 2. I thought they did a really good job with the animation. Like, Season 1 was already really good for me, but they really leveled it up, especially with the fights in Season 2. Like, the fight choreography went kind of crazy. And I actually didn't read the manga until after finishing season 2. So I didn't know what was going to happen this season, and I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of different things. The new characters that were introduced, like shout out Tsubaki. Um, just like the different storylines. It was just like really, really good. A really heartfelt season. Just I really enjoyed it. And then another series that I already talked about, Kaiju number 8, season 2 for that also came out. And I enjoyed that a lot too. I feel like the fights in Kaiju are always really done, really animated well. So I was excited to see that. Specifically the fight they teased with Kikuru and her kind of doppelganger Kaiju that she has to fight. That was peak. I can't wait for season 3 to finish that fight. There were certain things that were a little bit rushed, but obviously with the, what was it, like 11, 12 episode time constraint, you can only do so much with that, so I don't want to complain about that too much. But yeah, overall, I had a good time. The character designs were good, and yeah, the voice acting, as always, really, it always carries the anime. And also like the new theme song. I added it to my like anime playlist of songs, so that was good. And yeah, I like the season. And then circling back again to The Summer Hikaru Died, season 1. So I definitely did watch the anime before getting into the manga, and I just thought, like with no prior knowledge of the manga, of course, I thought the anime was really done well. The emotional weight of the scenes, like the background music, the sound effects, the incredible voice acting, it was just like it pulled me in. It was really good. Like it was just so eerie feeling and dark. And again, that's definitely what the manga gives. So definitely props to all the animators that worked on this. I really enjoyed this season. And then the last two I haven't talked about yet. First up we have Spy X Family season 3. So it's basically about this guy named Lloyd, who's like a really good spy. And he works for a company in the West that like does certain undercover missions to maintain peace between the West and the East, because there's like tension between them, and he's known for doing like these really like difficult, hard to pull off missions. So one day his company gives him this mission to get close to this important political leader in the east side of the country, and the plan is basically for him to create like a fake family in order to have a child to enroll in a school in the east, because the leader, his name is Donovan. Donovan's son is attending the school. So by getting the child close with the son, Lloyd could be able to get close to the father. So he makes like a fake identity for himself, moves to the east, and puts together a fake family with a wife named Yor and a child named Anya. But things don't go exactly according to plan, because those two also have secrets of their own. So Yor is actually a secret assassin, and this fake family is beneficial for her because one, when women are like a certain age, they get like questioned if they're not married, because for some reason society thinks they're like a secret spy reporting back to the West or something. So um, one, she wants to keep herself safe that way, and two, she also has like a kind of prying type of brother who wants to make sure that she's like progressing in life properly, like just looking out for her. So she wants to kind of get him off her back. So that's why the family's beneficial to her. And then Anya, the child, Lloyd actually gets her from an orphanage, and she happens to be a telepath. Um, so she knows obviously what Lloyd and Yor are thinking, the fact that they're not really who they say they are, and the importance of their identities being concealed. So she also wants to keep this family together. So yeah, the story basically follows all of these like three clashing secrets and identities, trying to keep the picture perfect family image together. And yeah, it's really interesting and fun, very unserious at times, and I love this series so much. And I was so excited for this season because a lot of my favorite arcs I knew were going to be animated. And despite, again, once again, another short, like 12, 13 episode season, which I do not like this trend in anime, I just want to point out. But despite that, I feel like they fit in everything like well. From Lloyd's backstory to the bus hijacking to Lloyd versus Yuri, like just so many monumental arcs all in one season. Like, how can you not say peak? It was all very well done, and I just had a great time. I always do. I love my family, and the series just has such a chokehold on me, and always will. And the final anime, which I'm very excited to talk about, is Gachikura. This anime really took me by storm. Like, I did not expect it to be this good going into it. Obviously, episode one, not that it was bad, but it was like an okay episode. I'm like, all right, I get the premise. But then I watched another episode and another. I'm like, oh, this is like really, really good. So this story takes place with the main character Rudo. He lives in this place called the Sphere, and a lot of people in the city live well above their means and are pretty wasteful. Um, but Rudo he isn't really like the average person that lives here. He finds value in things that most would consider like trash and stuff. And he was taught these like kind of values by his adoptive father Regto. And then one day, someone bursts through their door and ends up killing Regto. Um, and for some reason, Rudo is framed for this. Like when the police or whatever shows up, they assume that Rudo was the one that did it because the actual killer like ran off. So then Rudo is like forcibly taken to this like public area in town where they basically string up like kind of like Jesus on the cross, criminals and stuff, and then send them falling down to this place called the ground. That's where all the criminals go for their punishment. And the thing is, no one from the sphere has ever been to the ground, so no one really knows what's down there. They just assume like once criminals are sent down there that I guess they're just dead or something. And so when Rudo gets down there after falling all the way down, he's not dead, but he ends up in a place that's like full of garbage, just garbage everywhere. So this is basically what the ground is. It's like this whole society, and Rudo has no knowledge of it. He doesn't know his way around, so he has to kind of navigate through this. And he's also still dealing with the grief and anger of losing Regto. So he vowed to get revenge on the sphere for doing this to him, for both killing Regto and dooming him to the ground. So the story kind of just follows him, you know, navigating everything, meeting people on the ground, and it's so interesting, guys. Like the different characters we meet along the way, the style of the anime is so freaking cool. Like literally some of the coolest artwork I've ever seen, some of the coolest character designs I've ever seen. There are so many like black characters, which I love to see in anime and not drawn like caricaturely or stereotypically. Um, just the different powers that people have. The soundtrack eats, like I love it so much, and I can't wait to get into the manga. I promised myself after finishing season 1 I was going to. I finished season 1, so I'm definitely gonna get into the manga soon. And yeah, it's just a really good anime. I'd recommend it to anyone. Okay, and now the next category is TV shows. So I didn't watch like a ton of TV this year, I would say, because there's only 3 shows on this list. Um, but the shows I did watch were very good. So the first one is a show called Forever on Netflix. It's basically like a teen drama, and it's actually based on a Judy Blume book, which I've never read before. But it basically follows the lives of 2 high schoolers, the female lead Keisha and the male lead Justin. Justin plays for the basketball team at his school, and he's kind of just a laid back guy, but the pressure of like college applications is definitely looming over him, especially considering the parents that he has. So he has very like controlling parents, you know, they make most of his major life decisions for him, especially the mother. Um, so he kind of struggles with like sense of self and like having agency for himself, considering the fact that his parents like do everything for him. So that's kind of like a struggle throughout the story of learning himself, learning what he truly wants out of life. And he also struggles with ADHD, which also plays a factor in all of this. And then we have Keisha, who's always been like a high achiever in school. She also runs track, which she's very dedicated to. And she actually ended up having to switch schools after her ex-boyfriend leaked a sexual video of her, and like everyone in school found out. So obviously the humiliation, embarrassment of it all caused her to have to move schools, which was a big change in her life. So like ever since then, she's just been working like even harder to like maintain a good image for herself, because she's clearly someone that cares about like self-image and reputation after going through something like that. And there's also added pressure, because she lives with her mother, who she never told about like the true reason why she switched schools. It goes back to that self-image. She wants her mom to view her a certain way, and she also wants to become something that her mom could be proud of. So she feels like if she told her that, she wouldn't be proud of her anymore. She would get upset with her. So yeah, she just has a lot on her shoulders, and I think it shows in like the actions she makes throughout the show and just her character in general. And yeah, the story just basically follows Keisha and Justin's relationship, how they affect each other, and then also their relationships with their families, their friends, just everything, like a true like coming of age story. And I would definitely recommend it to people. I mean, how often do we get like a black young love story like this? It's a very interesting one. A lot of the dialogue was funny and like felt real. Um, and yeah, it was just like a really wholesome show overall. And it's already renewed for a second season. I hope you all tune in. Alright, next up we have one of my all-time favorite shows, Abbott Elementary. So this year, the end of season 4 and the beginning of season 5 happened. And I just think both were just really, really good. I mean, you're you're never going to be disappointed with Ab Elementary. I feel like over the years with each new season, it just keeps getting better. And I like how they still are able to keep things fresh, you know, even with Janine and Gregory finally getting together. It doesn't feel stale. Like, you know, it oftentimes happens with couples, like the build up feels better than the actual relationship, but they've been able to like make a convincing couple. They have a lot of really sweet moments together, a lot of realistic moments too, and I just love them. And I also love how the like all the characters as a whole are just like progressing, becoming like newer and improved versions of themselves. Like the development from season 1 to now is insane. Like even someone like Ava. It's just been really, really fun to witness. Like this show just gets it in so many ways. And with the show going into its 5th season, like I feel like it's the perfect time to experiment with different things. Because I would say this season, like the current season, season 5, definitely at times has like a different tone compared to previous seasons, but not in a bad way at all. Like I like how they're trying out different combinations of characters and like different plot lines, new characters. I think it's definitely been working. And I'm also excited to see the second part of season 5 that's gonna start airing again soon. Like the school being that little shopping mall now, like ridiculous. I can only imagine what we're gonna get out of that. So yeah, I love, love, love this show so much. You can never take it away from me. I hope it lasts for many years to come. And Quinta, keep doing what you're doing. And then the last show I'm going to talk about that has occupied my brain space for way too long and way too intensely is Arcane. Am I late to the party? Yes. Do I care? No. Because unlike the rest of y'all, I didn't have to wait for these episodes to come out. I can watch the entirety of season 1 and season 2 back to back. And I did. I'm pretty sure I finished the show in like 3 days. Yeah, because it was just that good. Now, obviously, we have to address the elephant in the room, which is season 2, a very controversial season. Me personally, I love it despite its flaws, because it has plenty. A lot that I was very mad about, but overall, I feel like it's still a solid season. Not nowhere near as good as season 1, not by a long shot, but it did a lot of things well, and as a whole, I can't be mad at that season. I can't. But yeah, season 1, the storytelling, the way things were set up, that whole like something big happening every 3 episodes. I mean, same thing for season 2, but still, like, just I don't know. It really takes you through a loop. Just has so much that I love in a show, especially the characters are really the selling point. Like it's been a while since I watched a show with like so many strong female characters that have layers to them, complex relationships between people, doomed siblings. I eat it up every time, even though it's so sad. I just had like the best time watching the show, honestly.
You look good. What is this, honey?
And now we're going to talk about the last category, which is movies. So I basically just did my top 10 favorite movies of the year. And this is in like no particular order. None of my lists are really, except for the first movie at the top of this list, but I'll save that for the end. So first on the list, and this is actually a two-parter, is Wicked 1 and 2. Now I know the first Wicked movie technically came out in 2024, but I didn't see it until this year, early January. But yeah, this series is like everything to me. I especially love the first movie, but both are really, really strong and good. I didn't watch the play prior to this, like had no knowledge of the story. Obviously I know like the general Wizard of Oz lore, but like this specific story, I had no knowledge of or like of the music, so it was actually refreshing for everything to be a surprise. And it was just a really, really good time. Like I mentioned in the music part of this video, the soundtrack, amazing. I love musicals and I love when great music comes from musicals, and Wicked definitely has great music. Um, and I also love specifically the songs that Cynthia and Ariana are on. They really know how to bring a character to life. Again, I had no knowledge of these characters prior, but like I just feel like their interpretations of the character are like really beautiful. They definitely took the part and ran with it, and yeah, their performances in both movies, as well as the rest of the cast too. But obviously, those two are the standouts, the main characters, and they just wowed me both times. Next on the list is K-pop Demon Hunters. Now this was a pretty fun movie. I didn't go into it with like many expectations, but I really enjoyed it. And I also had no idea how much it was gonna take the world by storm. Like talk about being everywhere. Another movie that was like literally promoted everywhere. But I'm not complaining though. Like I said, it was a fun movie. I love how we got another story about like women, specifically characters that are like fighters, kind of give magical girl group in a way. That's always fun. I love like animation and cartoons and stuff. So I enjoyed myself. And the songs are really catchy. I like how like Twice was kind of involved in it too. So yeah, it was a great time. And then next we have a few anime movies that came out this year. First is the Kaiju number 8 movie. Now technically this was more of like a recap than like new original content, but nonetheless I saw it in theaters and I was excited to watch it because just seeing like anime that I like in theaters, I don't know, it's just different, a different experience and I enjoyed myself. And I also thought the new like what is it, Hoshina's Day Off snippet was cute because that was technically new content. So yeah, overall I enjoyed the movie. And then there was the Jujutsu Kaisen hidden inventory movie, which was also a recap of like the first half of season 2. And again, just experiencing like certain anime in theaters is just a whole elevated experience. I really enjoyed it, and I also really enjoyed those like extra scenes at the end where they show like Gojo and the other students just like being young, carefree, having fun. Not they shouldn't have been at the club; they were too young for the club, but they just should have been allowed to be kids. Not suffer through what they had to go through and yeah, it was both sweet and heartbreaking watching that at the same time. But yeah, I love that movie. And then another Jujutsu Kaisen movie, which was half recapping Shibuya arc, the second half of season 2, and previewing the first 2 episodes of season 3, which comes out in a matter of days. And I know a lot of people weren't happy about the fact that the Shibuya recap took up most of the movie, but I was still happy with what we got from the season 3 stuff. Also, Shibuya arc is one of my favorite arcs in JJK, so I wasn't too upset about that. But yeah, just seeing what we have to look forward to in season 3, like the Yuji and Yuta fight, just seeing like the different characters, the new character designs and stuff. Like I'm so excited for this season. I think it's going to be animated very well and a lot of scenes to look forward to. Some not really look forward to, more like dread, but regardless, it's going to be animated well. And the voice acting, as always, is top tier. So yeah, definitely enjoyed this one. And next is the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, the second one. And maybe I'm just easy to please, but I enjoyed this movie. I don't harp on like the lore accuracy too much when it comes to the films because I mean the lore in Five Nights at Freddy's is so like loose anyway. Like it's constantly changing, adding new things. I feel like fan theories carry a lot of the lore anyway, so I don't go into it expecting like, oh, if these things aren't here, then I'm gonna be mad. As long as like the characters that I like to see are in it, and the story is like just fun, like something that I can like turn my brain off and watch. And I feel like that's what the series is, and so I really enjoy the movies. And the animatronics look pretty good in my opinion, especially what's it called? Funtime Foxy. And I also like the little cameos of animatronics to come that we got. Yeah, overall it was a fun movie and I will be tuned into the next one. The next movie on the list is The Long Walk. Now this is based on a Stephen King novel. I never read that though, so I went into this kind of blind. I just saw people talking about it online, so I decided to watch and it was really good. It's kind of like a survival movie. And so it basically follows the characters going on this I guess you could say marathon of walking, and whoever makes it the furthest, the longest, wins like a prize and a wish of whatever they want to be fulfilled, and everyone else unfortunately ends up dying. And it's just really, really interesting and twisted, and you get to see like different types of characters entering this competition, and you get to see why what they're doing it for, and just like the brutal conditions they have to go through, and yeah, it's really mind fucky, I would say, but really, really good. And then on a more lighthearted note, a comedy movie that came out this year, One of Them Days, and this had both Kiki Palmer and SZA in it, which I was interested to see, like that kind of dynamic, and they definitely played the fuck out of their roles. Like the chemistry between them was insane. I really enjoyed seeing them like work together, and the movie was really funny. Like I feel like female comedy movies are definitely needed, especially black led. The plot was very unserious in the best way. It kind of gave like I guess a female version of Friday, which I loved. The soundtrack was really good. I'm surprised there was none of SZA's music in here. But yeah, I had a great time with this. And then after that, I have Zootopia 2. I feel like a lot of sequels came out this year. But no, I really, really love this movie. The first Zootopia movie I love, so I knew I was gonna love this one, and it didn't disappoint. I feel like Nick and Judy's relationship really progressed in this movie. I really thought we were gonna get that confession, especially that one scene. If you know, you know. But regardless, yeah, like their chemistry, the tension between them was like at an all-time high in this movie, I feel like, which is really enjoyable for me. And also that one scene, I did not see that coming. And also the B plot with like the snake, that was really good, very touching. So yeah, there was a lot in this movie and I had a lot of fun. I almost cried at times and yeah, it was just really, really good. Also, we need Nibbles to get a spinoff. Like that queen, she deserves it. And then lastly, as you've all been waiting for, the best movie of the year, and that is Sinners. Yeah, just go ahead and give them all the awards right now. I mean, just cut the bullshit. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, wow, this was just such a phenomenal movie. Like seriously, all so many elements about the movie I just really, really loved. Ryan Coogler just knows what he's doing every single time, and he only gets better with his work. And this one was just an instant classic for me. The casting could not have been better, honestly. Like, so many amazing performances were delivered. Miles, you will become a star, mark my words. Just so many powerful scenes throughout the movie. That music scene in the juke joint alone deserves like all the awards. Seriously, it was transformative, honestly. Last time I seen the sun, oh my God. It was just a very, very emotional, but also inspirational and beautiful movie. And I just loved every minute of it. Truly, like this is a movie that's gonna stand the test of time for many years to come. I truly believe that and stand by that. It just had so much in it, so much in it. Just true and real, original, good cinema. Period. And that was the last movie and also the last category. So that was my 2025 wrapped, media wrapped. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you can comment some of your favorite media of this year down below. And I'll see you in the next video.